As you can see on my guitar, we've actually got a tuning peg for each string. I'll show you how to tune the guitar in just a moment, and we'll just go through some of the strings here. When we're tuning the guitar, we have to be really careful of making sure that we are turning the right peg for each string. What we can do, that we are tuning the right string, just put a finger on the string, like what I'm just doing here, and just follow it up until you hit the corresponding peg that you're sort of going to turn, and in this case is this one here. Now this is my thickest E string here, so if I'm going to turn the tuning peg, then I can turn it anti-clockwise or clockwise, you know, tune the string. And the same with the second one, okay, which is my A. Oddly enough, this is actually the 5th string. You follow my finger up, okay, and it's the middle one. And the 3rd one along, which is the D, just again follow it up. Oh, and it's actually at the top here. So we've got 3 tuning pegs here for these 3 strings here. The same on the other side as well. So the next string here is a G. We follow my finger up, it goes all the way at the top, the tuning peg, and then the B string, and it goes right into the middle, and the E string is the thinnest, and it actually goes there. Now the easiest way probably just to remember it is that the 2 outside strings, both the E's, are actually going to be closest to you when you pick up the guitar and put it on your lap. And then you've got the A and the B are the middle ones, and the D and the G, which are the 2 inside strings, right at the top. Now I've seen students, for example, like the E string, and instead of following it up and working out and getting used to the actual the tuning peg they should be tuning is this one, more often sometimes actually tune this one instead, which is actually for the D string, and they realise as they're tuning on the tuner, the actual sound of the E string stays the same, and then when they actually tune the A string and then they tune the D, sort of like they're tuning the D string next, you know, it's you know, the D string is way out of tune. Before anything, you know, do check, make sure that you're turning the right peg for the right string. So let's move on. Now let's start learning how to tune the guitar. Now obviously, as we've just been through before, we've got 6 strings here which need to be tuned. Now I've got my tuner here with me, which is sort of like balanced on the bridge of the guitar, so you can actually see exactly what I'm doing. On the tuner, top left, we've actually got the megahertz. Now make sure when you tune your guitar that it always says 440 megahertz, which is the calibration needed to tune all instruments properly. And then on the top right, we've actually, if we pluck a string, it usually tells us whether we are undertuned or sort of like overtuned, and it tells us sort of like which one we're looking for. Now as I'm talking, you can probably actually see this needle jumping about different places, you know, going from red to green and back to red again. On this side here, if the needle jumps over to this side here, then it means that the string needs just tuning up and just needs tightening from the headstock end. And if the needle just jumps onto this side and also glows in red, then it means that it's slightly overtuned. And what we need is the needle to be in the centre in green, just like that, as it was just doing, and with the corresponding letter that we're after. So let's start. Okay, so I'm going to tune this top string. It's the thickest one, and it's called the E. So this is like a very low E, this one. So if I just pluck it, you can hear the sound. And I think we mentioned before that we've actually got another E, and that's right down at the bottom on the guitar as well, on the set of six strings. I'm going to show you how we can tune the strings and what we're looking for in our guitar tuner. Now guitar tuners vary in different design, you know, but all sort of like do the same. Now this one's actually got an inbuilt microphone, so it actually picks up all ambient sound around. So when I'm tuning, what I'm trying to look for is a quiet room I can just tune my guitar in without any other noise and distraction. You can get clip-on guitar tuners as well from music shops, which just clip onto the headstock and just works vibration. If we have a look at the dial, obviously as I'm talking the needle's jumping up and down. Let's pluck the low E, which is the 6th string, and see what the needle tells us. Now I've got my other hand on the tuning peg. Now this is the one that's at the top and it's also the closest to me. I'm going to just pluck the string. Now as you can see, red dot here. Now it tells me it's slightly undertuned, so I really want it to be in the green, so I'm just going to tighten the string. That's turning it anti-clockwise. So I'm going to turn it slowly. Now as you can see, when I was plucking the string, the needle was almost in the centre on the green. So I know now that's actually in tune. I let one of my students help change the string. It was good practice for them, and if they break a string, at least they know how to change the strings as well. So next string we've got is A, exactly the same thing. So the A string is the 5th string, it's the 2nd string down. And we're looking for the same thing where the needle just stays in the centre. For the next string, this is the D, so my hand is actually on the tuning peg. It's the furthest away, it's actually at the top. So now, as you can see, the needle is jumping over to the right hand side and not into the centre. So that tells me I'm probably actually slightly over-tuned. That's actually pretty okay. We're going to try the next one, which is G, which is actually a 3rd string up, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th string down. Now again, with that string, it's sort of the red light's coming up on the left and then coming up on the right, and then it's actually centering on the green. There we are. So the right one come up first and the left one, so it's like overtuned and then undertuned. Sometimes you just have to tweak it, and it's actually what you have to do is just turn the tuning peg only a tiny fraction. Sometimes that's all it takes. So the next string is B, so as you can see it's slightly undertuned. That one's okay now. For the bottom string, which is the 1st string, which is the E, which is the high E. As you can see there, we're slightly under. So I'm just turning the tuning peg, the nearest one now, at the bottom of my neck. Okay. Just turning it sort of clockwise. And there is the needle sort of in the centre. This is how we would tune a guitar. This one's actually got a microphone inside of it, just at this point here, and it does pick up the ambient sound all the way around. The best thing to do when you're tuning a guitar is actually to tune it in a nice quiet room where there's not going to be any distractions. On this particular model, I actually have a jack on the top here, where an actual jack can actually go in. Now my guitar is actually an electric acoustic guitar, which means I can plug my guitar into an amplifier using a cable. Now what I can do is actually use the same cable to plug into the tuner, just plug it into that, and what that does is actually overrides the microphone, so I don't have to worry about all the ambient sound. I can just tune the guitar up just using the cable instead, which I think is a little bit better. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching this video and learning how to tune your guitar.